Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Today we're covering a retro anime movie called Otaku No Video.
And this mockumentary film is set in 1983, although it was released in 1991, and it mixes anime segments with live-action interviews about the rise, fall, and rise again of a guy who becomes an otaku but strives to create a world for otaku to live freely as the Otaku King.
Yes, for real. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click notification for some future podcasts from Mono Pause Video.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for subscribing and joining us and sharing our videos. We really appreciate you so much.
Yes.
So the thing about this is we'd never heard of it. It was actually available to watch for free on demand. And we was like, hey, let's
try it.
It's about. Yeah. Now, as we did mention, it's set in 1983, but it actually came out in 1991 as an anime OVA.
Yeah, that was a surprise. It explains why when you get to two different halves of the movie, it goes from 83 and then another one goes to 85. We almost thought the movie was ending way shorter than it needed to be.
So the first episode of this had its world premiere at AnimeCon in 1991 in September, and it was actually shown on 16mm with an audience of 9 people.
Oh my gosh, that's actually hilarious.
And it was later released with English subtitles on VHS, yes, VHS, believe it or not, in the US in 1993, and on DVD in 2002, and on Blu-ray in 2016, all by Animigo.
Wow, so they really turned out to make sure people kept seeing this in every format.
But it ended up being interesting and fun. And it's a mockumentary because they have the anime segments alternating with live action segments with people who are supposed to be extreme otaku, and they alter their voices, and they supposedly make them fuzzy so you can't see who they are. And in one of them, you actually see the guy's side of the face and start laughing, and you're like, okay, he's going to be losing his job.
Right.
But back when they filmed this, it wasn't like it is now, where anime's gone mainstream, manga's gone mainstream, and everyone wants to pretend that they are into anime and manga.
Right.
And it was still seen as something that adults shouldn't do. And if kids do it, well then
they need to get over it soon.
Right. Yeah. And that's what is depicted in this mockumentary. So you do watch it, you have to take it in the context of this is how it was then,
right,
not how it is now. It still was fun and interesting to watch. Had a couple extreme cases, including one that was kind of not safe for work, and we're not even going to mention that one. But the others,
which we knew we were going to go there.
Kind of funny and ridiculous in terms of how they were being represented.
Right. And they also go into each character and how they're different kinds of otaku. One specifically for mecha, one specifically for military anime, one for magical girl or magical boy if they have that too. Some for action-oriented, some for kind-oriented. They got different stages of them for different kinds. And some collect the models, some record the airings on TV or try to find VHSs of them wherever they can. They go to the screenings for Ghibli movies, which is no longer something uncool. I mean, that is like S tier now entertainment. So it's hilarious to see that. And even got a guy that goes and gets animation cells from different studios. Either he buys them or he's like black market animation cells or something. Then look what I got from this studio. There's just some drawings and it's hilarious.
Now when this came out, it was controversial because of those live action segments, and the mock documentary segments serve as a counterpoint to the anime. The anime emphasized friendship, camaraderie, creativity, and dreams, and the acceptance of otaku by other otakus. And in the live action interviews exaggerate the negative qualities. And it's believed that all the subjects in the portraits of otaku live action were actually Gainax employees, or they were connected to Gainax at the time of filming. And some of the otakus, the people figured out who they were.
Oh, and they weren't supposed to.
They weren't supposed to.
And, oh my gosh.
Including, as we mentioned, the one who watch hentai, another that was pornography fan, another that had
The
a garage
ones-
kit, another that had it was airsoft otaku. As Rascal said, it was just a mosaic of people.
Right.
So I forgot to mention that this was created by Gainax, and if you know about them, let us know in the comments. Directed by Takashi Mori and Soichi Masuo. Written by Toshio Okada. Music by Kohei Tanaka. And the music is very dated.
Yeah.
So if you're watching it, you're not going to get into it.
Right. And it's great. What's really great about it is that you still get into the anime portions of the mockumentary and how this guy goes from normal guy to slowly descending into otaku, and then it looks like his life falling apart because he's becoming an otaku.
Yes, his name is Ken Kubo, and when he starts off, he's a tennis player, and he's popular with the ladies.
Of course.
And he's good looking, and he's popular with everyone. And then they invite him to come to one of their meetings, I guess you could say, where they talk about anime and manga and so forth.
In detail, yes.
So he gets there, and then they said, don't worry about it, we'll teach you. And they have stacks and stacks of anime and manga they want him to read, and he ends up staying there for days on end.
Yeah, getting absorbed into all this stuff.
And his girlfriend, because yes, he had a girlfriend in the beginning, who was also popular and pretty, and yeah, she screws him over in it. And she gets mad at him because he's spending so much time with the other otaku. He starts to gain a little weight. He starts spending days on end there. He puts off playing tennis. He's no longer interested in it. Remember, this is an exaggeration.
Exactly.
And so she dumps him.
Yeah.
So later on, this cow comes back. He and his friend, he and one of the friends there, they decide to form their own company for the garage sets.
Yes. And from there, they build literally an empire off these kids and make their own company.
His friend's name was Tanaka. No last name. Only Ken has a last name.
Right. And from there, they build their own company on these garage kids, and they become world renowned for it. And their goal is to expand so much that they have just about anything for otaku wants, starting with this, expanding to different genres and mediums for otaku. And then it gets to a point where he wants to create Otaku Land, so I guess his answer to Disneyland, hilariously.
Yes.
And so anywhere, any old type of otaku, all walks of life, even across the world, can come and just enjoy the things they love without being judged. And yes, they do actually say that in here. It's like, why is it when you become an otaku, people immediately think you're a loser and don't want to be around you just because you like to watch anime and stuff? And it's like, story of a lot of people's lives, especially animation in here. And it's hilarious because part of it is not dated because it's so insane. You still got people thinking that now. It's still treated like it's something for kids. It's still treated like you shouldn't be doing this and wasting your life away. You're going to become a loser if you absorb your life into it. And it's like, but you're making millions off of these cartoons. Well, who's the loser here?
So they form it, and then in the movie, Ken ends up losing the company. He is the president.
Yes.
And then Tanaka, along with their other friends who they had working there on the board, end up kicking him out. And that cow girlfriend, Ueno, she ends up marrying the guy that takes the company away from them. And then later on, all the rest of the friends get booted out too.
Yeah.
And Rascal said, well, I guess this is her revenge because she was upset he was spending time with the
guys
watching anime and manga.
Yeah, this is some heavy hate for anime doing this, buying out the guy who didn't want to be doing it.
Well, the good thing is they meet up again, and he sees Tanaka sitting on the curb, and he tries to run, and he's like, you're not mad at me? You forgive me? Yes. He says, let's do it again. Let's start another company. And they do and build it up, and that's when you get Otaku Land, as you said.
Yes, he finally gets it.
And Urayasu Chiba Prefecture as the original Tokyo Disneyland.
Right.
And then many years later after that, they returned to Otaku Land in a post-apocalyptic submerged Japan.
Yeah.
And they find the central structure, a giant robot converted into a functional spaceship piloted by their old friends. And then when they take off their helmets, they're miraculously rejuvenated and they're young again.
I guess the water was the fountain of youth.
And they fly into space in search of the planet of Otaku.
The end!
But it's a fun watch. Yes, it sounds crazy, but it was fun. Very creative. And I like how people who were probably experiencing these things back then found a way to be creative with it and put life into something that's absolutely fantastical and ridiculous, but fun at the same time. And then have a spotlight on how people who love anime and manga, as Rascal said, are still treated. But back when this was made in 91, taking place in 83, in the movie itself, this was widespread. It wasn't just for people who were into anime and manga, it was also anyone who loved comics.
Yes.
In the U.S.
It was
and
the
if
same
you liked
time.
anime and comics and manga, well, you were just a triple loser.
Oh, yeah. And they definitely addressed that in here, but you like that, you know, it knows, like, don't take this too serious. You're going to act like it's serious, but you know by everything that's happening, they're in on the joke, so you don't take a personal offense to what they're saying.
And I really believe this was made for other otaku.
Yeah,
it's
just like the thing
if
itself.
you don't watch anime and manga, and if you don't know the world of otaku, and if you aren't into these things, if you watch it, great. But if you don't, it's okay, because it's really for people who understand, who can relate, and who love the mediums.
Yes, absolutely. This is something, one of the most relatable movies and underrated gems you could find out there for if you love anime and manga.
So if you've seen Otaku No video, let us know in the comments. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was a fun watch? Did you know about this years before now? If it hadn't been, I think it was Tubi we watched it on.
Yes.
Hadn't been for Tubi, we've never seen it or heard of it, so thanks a lot, Tubi. And if you haven't seen it, go to Tubi, give it a watch. It is fun. We did point out to you there's going to be the 2
NSFW content.
Yes. And if you want to skip over there, you can. We didn't skip because we didn't know it was coming up, but you get a warning.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us and subscribing and sharing our videos. It helps us out a lot, and we really appreciate you so much.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and reviews for your anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching. Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.